The Arizona Diamondbacks completed a fairly disappointing season, missing the playoffs 1 year removed from representing the National League in the World Series. The team failed to take that next step as a team from a surprisingly good team in 2023 to a perennial playoff team in 2024 and beyond. And today we're here to help the D-backs take that step. This makes the 20th team of the Rebuilding October series, which is a series where I rebuild a new team every day across the month of October. So whether you're looking for your favorite team or just generally curious about how every team will approach the offseason, this is the series for you. And with that, let's get the Snakes back to postseason baseball. Before we can look at who the team should add via free agency, we have to look at who the team will be releasing into that pool. The first name on the list is a name that the Diamondbacks acquired from the Marlins at the trade deadline, and Josh Bell. Bell performed significantly better for the Diamondbacks than he did for the Marlins, posting a 796 OPS in 41 games in Arizona. However, the D-backs will move on from the slugging first baseman. Bell's valleys as a player can leave him almost unplayable at times, and that's not something a fringe playoff team can afford. The next name is Jock Peterson, who is facing a $14 million mutual option heading into the 2025 offseason. Peterson performed admirably in his time in Arizona, posting a 908 OPS across 132 games while hitting 23 homers and 64 RBIs. It is enough for him to decline his option and seek more money elsewhere. It'll create a big hole in the D-backs lineup that will need to be filled to keep pace in the National League West. Possibly the biggest loss from the team will be first baseman Christian Walker, who continues to be a phenomenal first baseman both offensively and defensively. In his 8 seasons in Arizona, Walker has posted a 796 OPS with a 162 game average of 29 homers and 88 RBIs. Combine that with him being in line for his third straight gold glove at the first base spot, and there's some serious hype around this guy as he will be entering the free agent period. Diamondbacks would love to keep Walker around, but in a bidding war, they won't be able to keep up with some of the biggest hitters in baseball. It's not all doom and gloom as Eugenio Suarez will be retained to the team, with the team accepting his $15 million option for 2025. Halfway through the year, the trade for Suarez looked like an absolute bust, but a 942 OPS over the second half of the year, with 20 of his 30 home runs coming in that time frame, it'll make the team think they are getting a bargain deal for the slugging infielder. Merrill Kelly will also remain on the squad through 2025, with the team picking up his $7 million team option. Kelly did struggle with injuries in 2024, only posting 13 starts and earning a 4.03 ERA in those starts, but Kelly has been really solid for the middle of this rotation, and for $7 million, that is a bargain for a guy who's averaged 30 starts and a 3.66 ERA from 2021 to 2023. Maybe to the dismay of Diamondback fans, Jordan Montgomery will return to the team to earn his $22.5 million option. Shooting some bail to Montgomery, he did sign really late into the year, making it hard to ramp up properly for the 2024 season, but either way, it wasn't good. Montgomery posted a 6.23 ERA across 25 appearances, with the team owner openly criticizing the move to sign Montgomery. Hopefully, 2025 will treat Montgomery better and he'll get back to the form we saw in 2023, or else things might get ugly in Arizona. The team will lose out on Randall Grichuk, who put up a surprisingly good season for the Diamondbacks, posting an 875 OPS across 106 games. Grichuk has a mutual option in place for $4 million in 2025. It would make all the sense of the world for Grichuk to go out and get more money in 2025. His underlying numbers support the production he was capable of, and to expect similar numbers next season wouldn't be irrational. The team will lose a pair of relievers in Paul Sewald and Scott McGough, both of which saw steps back in their production this season and will find a new home elsewhere in 2025. And the final name on the list is Kevin Newman, who will return to the Diamondbacks as their backup infielder. Newman showed surprisingly good defense in 2024, something that had been a critique of him throughout his career. Combine that with a slightly below average bat, and all of a sudden you have a valuable addition to the team as a backup. For prospects to make the team, there are three names that will have a significant impact on the Major League squad, the first of which got us a cup of coffee with that 2023 squad at just 20 years old, and Jordan Lawlar. Lawlar was set to be at the Major League level last season, but injuries hampered him to just 23 total games, which is where he spent in the minor leagues. He did crush that time frame, which should leave little doubt as to where he will be at the jump of the 2025 season, as he will be with the Major League roster. For the other prospects, we have Yolbert Diaz, who checks in as the D-backs' sixth best prospect. He made this debut last season in 7 games, with 4 starts where he posted a 3.81 ERA in that time. Diaz has big time stuff. It's just a matter of keeping control of it for him to take that next step as a pitcher. And the final pitcher to keep an eye on is Yumin Lee, a lefty starter sat as the seventh best prospect in the system. Lee has an impressive 5 pitch mix In a fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, and cutter, his off speed offerings are his best, routinely getting swing and misses. If Lee can add just a couple ticks of velocity, it would do a lot for his game overall, as his fastball sits in the upper 80s to low 90s. For free agent signings, I had the Diamondbacks signing an old friend in Paul Goldschmidt, who the Diamondbacks can commit to after having a poor final season with the St. Louis Cardinals. Just 2 seasons removed from an MVP year, Goldschmidt puts it a 716 OPS with 22 homers and 65 RBIs. Certainly not the player the Cardinals were hoping for. The numbers certainly should have declined based on his underlying numbers, but maybe not as sharply as they did. Goldschmidt still sits in the 92nd percentile of hard hit percentage and 82nd percentile of average exit velocity. He might not be that low strikeout, high walk guy that we once knew, but there is still some lightning in that old bat. And the final offensive player the team will grab is Tyler O'Neill from the Boston Red Sox. O'Neill bounced back in a big way for the Sox in 2024, posting an 847 OPS in 113 games while hitting 31 homers and 61 RBIs. O'Neill's game is a bit hit or miss and can really struggle with the injury bug. However, if the D backs can get the upside of Tyler's game, this lineup gets a whole lot scarier. And finally, the team will grab Kyle Gibson to help stabilize the back end of this rotation. With major question marks around Montgomery and the fifth starter of the team, it would be a solid grab for a guy who can just go out there every 5 days and keep the game competitive for the offense, which has the potential to be potent. That brings the final team to Gabriel Moreno behind the dish, Paul Goldschmidt at first, Ketel Marte at second, Jordan Lawler starting the year at the MLB level at shortstop, with Geraldo Perdomo manning the hot corner. Lourdes Gurriel will be placed in left field, with Carroll in center and O'Neill in right, with Suarez at the DH spot. Adrian Del Castillo would continue to back up Moreno at catcher, with Alec Thomas as the fourth outfielder, Haven Smith as a bench bat, and Kevin Newman as an additional infielder. The rotation would be headlined by Zach Allen, with Merrill Kelly and Eduardo Rodriguez in the middle of the rotation, with Jordan Montgomery and Kyle Gibson at the back end, with Ryan Nelson when he returns from injury, and Gilbert Diaz as immediate replacement option. Would this team be capable of another playoff run? They have the pieces to. There's a lot of variance with this team, and if they can get the most out of certain players, particularly at the right time, this team could catch fire and make a serious run at another playoff run.